Got a lot of fantastic wrestlers on the program today.
Well, that's right. I like the name of this program, Les. Wrestling Superstars. You know, I especially like being on here with a professional commentator like yourself, and I see some top-flight action myself. I like watching these matches, but one of the reasons I'm out here is because the people involved with this know that as far as being a wrestling analyst, I'm one of the best. I've been an amateur and a pro. Reached the top in both. Now again, this match, Pat Rose, Paul Orndorff. Orndorff, of course, known nationally, known as a Brandon Bull, very, very strong man, fiery, a lot of drive, a lot of ambition.
You might mention your fans too, Bob, that since you have just recently arrived in the area, it's very important for you to scout each and every wrestler that steps into one of the World or Georgia Championship rings.
Well, that's true. You know, every time when I'm traveling around the country, I watch wrestling programs wherever I can. Look at that move by Orndorff. Great agility.
Orndorff driving knee, and he's got Rose on the move.
Very unorthodox. Caught him with a blow to the abdomen, came back with a knee lift, just rattled his cage upper and lower, and then into a hold now where he can put pressure on him. I was doing it myself right there. I would try to put my weight on the guy more, but again, Orndorff has his own style. He's been very successful with it, so I'm not going to second guess it. But again, yes, scouting is very important. It's important to watch any opponent. Doesn't matter if the man's a neophyte just starting, because you have people that come that haven't been around too long, like Hacksaw Butch Reed, for example, that come out and just take the rest of it by storm, and that physique, that strength, and that drive, that makes up for experience in some cases, where a man is almost like a seasoned veteran in a short period of time.
Of course, this man Orndorff presents a obstacle to you as well. He is the National Heavyweight Wrestling Champion. And of course, Bob, we both know, and the fans probably know as well, you win titles, that's where the big money's at.
Of course. And only one reason to be around professional wrestling with all the pain and the bumps and the bruises. Now, Rose, nice move there. Pat Rose telegraphed what he was going to do there and gave Orndorff a chance to duck under it. Again, Orndorff's got split-second reactions, but not that fast. He just gave him too much time there. But again, Pat Rose is he's another man that's kind of a sleeper. He doesn't have the definition that Orndorff does, but you can see he's strong enough to hold him in a hammerlock there. Big, thick legs. Man conditions himself well. Nice move by Orndorff there.
Good counter.
Rose was not. I think he was in the midst of shifting his grip, put more pressure on that hammerlock. Orndorff felt the pressure loosen and just slipped out of it, turned around, and fireman carried him. Nice move. Again, very unorthodox style.
I think if Pat Rose has made a mistake at all in this match, and I think maybe you'll agree with me, maybe not, but he has tried to wrestle Orndorff's match. And of course, Paul's style is his own. As you mentioned, each man is different, but Rose has tried to go with Orndorff's style, and it hasn't proved successful for him.
Well, you're right, and that's very important in any match. You don't want to let your opponent dictate to you what you're going to do. When I see that happen, I immediately knock off about 20 points in my analysis of an opponent, because if he can be led around, then I can lead him into making a mistake. Now, guys that are difficult, very difficult to fool and to lead around in any way, into making a mistake. Now, guys that are difficult, very difficult to fool and to lead around in any way, I have to either wait for him to make a mistake or I have to just overpower him. So, again, Orndorff's calling the tune here. Nice move there. Well, I can't tell whether he set him up for that one or not. Nice move. He faked high, looked like for the arm drag that he's used before, and dropped toe hold him and ended up on the arm again. Now, again, he's making Rose carry his weight, putting a lot of pressure on that shoulder fulcrum. And again, you can see Orndorff's not carrying any weight. He's on top of the situation, I mean, both literally and figuratively. And Pat Rose, it'd be a big upset if he could beat Paul Orndorff, especially on television that reaches as many people as this program does. And again, now he's going after him. Apparently, he decided to open up the style a little bit, like like you say, wrestling with Orndorff, strength for strength is not working for him. Well, see, he gave him too much time there. If you're going to start punching and kicking, you better stay on a guy.
It's a thinking man's game as well as a physical game, right?
Oh, it's human chess. And you better be sure you know what you're doing, because it's your body that gets checkmated. And again, Pat Rose.
A loaded question, Bob, and interrupt you momentarily. If it was Bob Rupen against Paul Orndorff, where would you go after?
Wow, that power slam.
Beautiful.
I would go after extremities. His wrist or his ankles or his neck.
At Candy's strengths, and Bob, it appears to me that if Candy takes a good wide stance, that all the forearms that Deke can deliver in the world aren't going to do a lot of damage.
That's true. They're not going to unless he hits him right on the point of the jaw. You can knock out under the jaw if you hit him right. But again, Dick Rivers is like, again, he's not really carrying an assault to the man. He's just sort of feeling him out, and it's the wrong way to do it with this guy. If you're going to feel him out, when you take over on him, you better do something. All right, now there's a way of going to a man's eyes. I think Candy's playing with this guy myself.
That head into the turnbuckle showed no effect whatsoever.
No, and one thing I know about through Ray Candy's career, that the only thing that's kept him from being number one in a lot of ways, because he can control that weight, is the fact that he's a good-hearted person, which is to his credit, certainly in his personal life. Ooh. Now, again, you notice that he laid that forearm across the chest. He didn't hit him in the mouth, and again, he's not, you notice he's not taking a really vicious attack to him. He's just wearing him down, making the man carry his weight. Now, that can be a problem. Deke Rivers, again, knows he needs to get up from under that weight any way he can, which I would do the same thing. If you pull, well, he's going to the eyes again. Now, he better follow us up. He's not doing it.
He needs to stay right on top of the man at this point.
He needs to be on him like a swarm of bees, not just because all he's going to do is Candy's going to get mad. And when you get him mad, I've seen this guy right now. He's not going to be. See, he didn't have him beaten down enough to even get him out of that corner. If you got a man on Dream Street, you can pull him out of the corner no matter how big he is. But he needs to get Candy down. You notice he hasn't gotten him off his feet yet. He needs to get him down on the mat and jump up and down on him with something, his feet, or drop elbows on him or something, because
Candy dazed a bit, but he's been able to stand off the attack of Rivers. It hasn't really done that much damage, Bob. And as you say, I think the canvas is the way to go here.
Well, again, I was mentioning earlier, one of the drawbacks with Ray Candy's career is the fact that you need to make him mad before he really gets into high gear, and that's a disadvantage. I know guys that go into the ring and they're like mad dogs when they go in there. Buzz Sawyer for one, myself for another. Go in there just ready, to make it happen right now and not wait and see what your opponent. Like, one thing I know you've noticed, Les, is that, and you people out there, is that Ray Candy has been, in a way, letting Deke Rivers kind of dictate some of the things that are going to happen in this match. And in my mind, that's not a smart thing to do, because you give a guy half a chance, a finger in the eye. Now Candy's starting to show some. I don't think that foot in the abdomen's going to.
Nice takedown by Ray.
He's putting the weight on him. Now, if he's smart, he'll stay on him and not let him up out of there. And if it takes 10 minutes or whatever, blow the guy up. Now, he let Rivers get too close to the rope, and again, he has to let him go. Now, all right, now there was a situation right there where the man's laying flat on his back where a lot of people would have jumped right up and jumped on him. But Candy again showed that he's a fair-minded man. He got up off him, and I believe that eventually, maybe not against Deke Rivers, but against somebody like Super Destroyer, for example, who's his own size, that's going to hurt him. You know what I mean, Les? That's going to hurt you to lay back.
Basically what you're saying, Bob, is Ray Candy wait for you to make him mad for him to get out there and really dig. Otherwise, he's just going with the flow up to that point.
Right. He's kind of going out there to show his skills. All right, now you can see he's cranked up a little bit. He whipped him in that corner, and he put all his weight behind it. All right, now he's going to flip the man over. Now, if he uses that weight, ooh. Now that. Well, see, now he can finish a match like that. I'm just curious why it took him so long to do it.
The expertise of Bob Roop, and your winner with an elbow and a body press, the Candyman, Ray Candy. We'll be back. Fall 10 minutes, and we're ready for action. Super Destroyer out against Chris Lucas. Destroyer comes up with a headlock as Lucas trying to reverse, and joining me here at the mic is Bob Ruben. Bob, welcome once again to Wrestling Superstars.
Well, thank you, Les. Again, it's a pleasure to be here. Share your expertise in some ways. It's watching these superstars. This is great for me to be able to, like, right at ringside. Normally, I have to sit home and watch. Super Destroyer doesn't need much scouting. You can see he's got a young, inexperienced opponent here, and I know this young man's going to do his best, but Super Destroyer is just that.
Basically got one speed, one direction, straight forward, and just gets in there and digs, right?
Right. Well, you got to give Chris Lewis credit again for coming out and trying. He's hoping that lightning. But again, Super Destroyer didn't get to the place he is. The reality has in the wrestling profession.
Hear that one crack all the way down here.
That'll take the breath right out of you just watching, much less when you have it happening. Ooh. Over 300 pounds, he comes down with that knee. Again, now he's dominating the match. He smacked him with the big forearm, knocked the wind out of him, drop a knee on his chest, knocked the wind out of him. Now he's in there, not choking, but putting a lot of pressure, those big 20-inch arms, on the man's thorax area. And what's going to happen is he's going to blow his opponent up real quick.
Bob, the thing that I always look for with the Super Destroyer is his variation of the suplex. He calls it a superplex and takes his hand to that top rope, and it's certainly a devastating move.
That's one of the most impressive ways to beat people that I've ever seen, and he's one of the few people capable of doing it. You have to, one ingredient to be able to do that is you do have to have your opponent completely overwhelmed. You have to have him just about out on his feet, because it's setting him up on that turnbuckle. Again, the man, if he had any strength or stamina left, he'd be able to get out of there. But again, you see the methodical way that he goes about setting his opponent up. That's Chris Lewis. Looks like he's going to very ineffective though.
Lucas trying to fire back, but the big masked man is just hanging in there, and really Lucas has gotten so far behind at this point, Bob. I don't know that that barrage is going to do him any good.
Well, he looked to me that he was kind of afraid of making the guy mad. There was no authority to those punches. He was just sort of just like those were love taps, and you can see it with the Super Destroyer. If you're going to hit him, you better hit him with a baseball batter, because this man is hard to knock down. I've seen him go down when it's to his advantage, to take away the pressure of a drop kick or something like that. As far as being knocked down, very few people that can do that. This man trains hard, he conditions himself well, runs, got his over swing. Ooh!
Taking the wind away from him with that one, cutting it right off.
Well, you see the ease. Again, this Chris Lucas is at least 230 pounds. He picked him up easily. Strength is a really important thing, but again, you need to have the agility, and something that makes a Super Destroyer very, very effective is the knowledge. He knows his way around a wrestling ring.
Big elbow.
Bringing that weight to bear.
Bob, let me ask you this, being the veteran that you are, if you were spotting a wrestler as much weight as Lucas is spotting the Super D here, what would be your way of going about neutralizing the big masked man?
Well, I would work on his extremities. I would try to work on an ankle or an arm, a wrist, a forearm, work on that area rather than attack that great big upper body. In other words, get away from his strength. And now I think this Chris Lucas, I believe that Super Destroyer is setting him up for something, because a lot of people don't understand that the mental chess that goes on in wrestling rings. They don't understand some of the things that see happen, because wrestlers do play chess with each other, and Super Destroyer gave Chris Lucas a little bit of a space there to see what he could do, and all he did, he ended up putting a big boot to move. Again, 300-some pounds right in the middle of the back.
Lucas dazed, and certainly for all good purposes, he's out of it at this point, Bob.
Well, he is. I was surprised that he was able to kick out of that. I think the Super Destroyer might be trying to get himself a good workout here on television, because he has not done, as you notice, Les, you've seen thousands of matches in your professional